When you think about the game Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, people most likely aren't talking about the first game. Yeah, it's what started it all, and a lot of people know it from a PlayStation 1 Pizza Hut demo disc. But a lot of people think about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, the game after. There were more objectives, more skaters to choose from, better graphics than the first game, better controls, the ability to manual and lip trick, more customization options between creating your own skater or creating your own park. Do I even have to go on? Pro Skater 2 vastly improved the original by an enormous amount with these small changes. There was no reason to play the original anymore. Although a lot of people talk about this game being a classic on the PlayStation 1, there were two other versions on the game that also came out on home consoles. The Nintendo 64, which did run slower than the PS1 and didn't even have full motion cinematics, and the Sega Dreamcast. This specific port was a bit better than the original game, I would say, and gave us smoother cinematics and better visuals, both with the skaters and the levels. With the caveat of having all the sound being so bad that it'd be more pleasant listening to chalkboards being scratched. But about 1 year after the original game's release, an Xbox exclusive version of Pro Skater 2 would come out called Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2X. Pro Skater 2X also came out just a few weeks after Pro Skater 3, and despite it coming out on a newer console at the time, it never adapted the newer engine into making this port, remaster, re-release. I don't know. But along with being developed by Neversoft, this game was also developed by Treyarch, the same company who helped make the Dreamcast version. So a lot of the game's assets, visuals, and even control scheme would be based on the Dreamcast version. With this, Pro Skater 2X would be getting the best visual treatment with very minimal changes to the controls, as well as some additional content seen in the first game. And upon booting up the game, everything looks different. The main menu gets a new look, albeit a worse design than the spinning wheel in the original game. Loading into the career mode is lightning fast, and all of the character models look more detailed. And what better way to start off the career mode than to choose the most influential, most recognizable skateboarder in the world? Chad Muska. When you get into the actual game, the first thing you'll probably notice is that the game runs at a smooth 60 frames per second. I'm not a huge stickler for FPS numbers, but this is a huge improvement. The game feels more responsive, combos just feel better to execute, and you're not bottlenecked by slower hardware. Simply put, 60 FPS is how the game should have been played in the first place. Another thing you've probably noticed is this trail effect around your skater. That's the inclusion of motion blur that's already on by default and takes away a lot of the detail of the skater. But thankfully you can change it in the options menu, so it's not a huge deal breaker. As to why motion blur was added in the first place, I don't even know. It's probably used to clean up some of the jittery movements of the skater that are still present, but it still makes me sick looking at it. The visuals themselves look a lot better than the original games, with the help of better lighting, increased render distance, and updated textures thanks to the Xbox. Every level looks amazing now, even the ones that are indoors. And even with the skaters too. I mean, you can finally see the Hawkman's leg hairs, look at them! As for the actual game, yeah, it's Pro Skater 2 alright. It's pretty much the same game, just with better visuals, a different heads-up display, an actual balance meter for grinds, thank god, and improved performance. It doesn't sound like a lot, but all of that really adds up to make the experience of playing through the game more enjoyable. The rest of the game is pretty much the same. That is until you complete the game once. Then you unlock the Tony Hawk 2X career. This career is newer content added to the Xbox version, consisting of new levels and harder goals exclusively designed by Treyarch. So cool, we get to skate on more levels. But how were they?
Ah, my ear!
The first level here is called The Club. This level starts with your music blasting loud club music, overriding all of the game's licensed soundtrack, while your controller continuously vibrates. It consists of two parts. The first is the actual club portion, with two half-pipes disguised as dance floors in the middle, a long bar table that doesn't connect properly around curves and slows you down if you grind around them, an upper balcony with a huge quarter pipe, a series of grinds that reaches to the DJ that you need a lot of speed to even get to, a crow's nest that has two half-pipes that you can transfer between, and a secret area accessed by smashing through glass that contains a bunch of half-pipes and grinds in between them. And in contrast, the second part beside it is a small stadium with a huge pool at the center and rails hanging everywhere. There's a lot happening in this level, it's overstimulating. And there's so many sections that don't connect well, it's hard to even reach the 6 score requirement. And you'll find the same pattern in the next level, Construction Site. This also has two parts, the unfinished building in the corner and the area around it. The area around the unfinished building consists of a few quarter pipes, ramps that feel like they shouldn't work as ramps, a few mobile trailers, a couple of barriers to grind, 2 oddly placed tractors, and the fence that covers the entire level that doesn't circle around and leads to death pits. The building itself contains a bunch of ramps that you can use to ascend the building, which I'll admit was fun to do. But finding the secret tape here was a struggle because you couldn't rotate the camera with the right stick at all. Again, there's a lot of elements that don't work together or make for a good combo, but unlike the club, this level is just boring to play in. Then once you complete that, you unlock the Tampa competition level, the same one that would later be used for Tony Hawk's Underground and had to beat Eric Sparrow. But even though you have this entire competition area, all of the scoring can be more effectively done by grinding around the pool on the outside. And with a little bit of skill, you can grind to the top of the competition area and find a dog there. Just chilling.
Judging your actions.
Completing every goal in this career unlocks the Skylines level, which is supposed to be inspired by Spider-Man being an unlockable skater in the game. This level contains a series of rooftops that you can transfer to, each containing different skatable objects. Which does sound like a cool idea for a level, but again, everything is closed in and it's hard to find a good line. As soon as you think you're in a good combo, you transfer into a different rooftop and become overwhelmed with a bunch of trickable objects that'll kill your flow. And completing the actual Tony Hawk 2X career will get you the Tony Hawk 1 career with all of the levels and, get this, all of the goals unchanged from the original. To be fair, the levels do look better with the updated visuals and lighting, and although some of the videos you'd see had to be replaced with the Treyarch logo, everything else was the same. The goals, the competition gold medal requirements, nothing else was changed. Although after you complete the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 career, you unlock another level made by Treyarch called the New York Subways, and yeah, you know what, I'm not even gonna try with this one, you know what the pattern is, it's still not great. But hey, that's all the newly added career mode content. Everything else in the game was basically the same as Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. The tricks, the unlockable skaters, the unlockable levels, the big drop, god damn it, the creative park and creator skater features, this time being able to customize female skaters and give them cat ears, and even the cheat codes. But the cool thing about the cheat codes this time is that the button inputs on your controller actually spell something out. With the white button representing T and black button representing C, you could input burly skulls for big head mode, all sticks for wireframe mode, scabs for removing blood, dull baby for clearing career mode, Saturday baby for unlocking everything, Radicool baby for unlocking all gaps in a secret skater. Why are we so obsessed with babies? Along with this, you could also add your own custom music from your Xbox, which was pretty cool at the time, as well as play multiplayer with up to 8 people by connecting 2 Xbox consoles together. But nobody probably used this feature since they were already grinding away on Pro Skater 3. Overall, this is a weird port, re-release, remaster, I still don't know. This game is an interesting way to play the original Pro Skater 2. With all the visual improvements, what with the updated textures and longer render distances, and with the better performance being updated to 60 FPS, the Xbox version might actually be the better game out of the other versions. It's such a simple idea to upgrade the performance of a previous generation game, but man, is it worth playing. Playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 with a smoother frame rate makes a world's difference. Plus the added benefit of playing the career mode of Pro Skater 1 with all the original goals, this game really was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 before Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. But other than the addition of the 2X career mode with its questionable levels, this game doesn't add much from the first 2 games. If you already played the previous 2 games, then there was no reason to play this one, especially when Pro Skater 3 was already on the shelves. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2X was made for a very small group of players, which was those who owned an Xbox and never experienced any of the original games before. Thankfully, I was one of those people, or else I wouldn't be talking about how weirdly great this game is. But little did we know how good we had it back then, because there was a time when the series was trying to get fancier, adding more complicated ideas and features that would stray away from the Tony Hawk formula. It even got to a point where we had to use a fake skateboard with motion controls to play the games. Nobody asked for this. People would eventually want to revisit a time when the games were truly timeless, and escape back to the glory days when the game originally launched with simpler controls. And with the original developers out of the picture, one studio stood to the task to hopefully recapture the beauty of a beloved franchise, or crash and burn doing so.